Okay, good evening everyone.
Okay, just going to start off with health and safety. This is good, isn't it? So if there's fire alarm goes off, obviously we've got the doors at the back that you come through, but each of the curtains at the side there, you can see the green running man, so you'll be able to escape through there. Obviously we're not expecting any tests this evening. Right, it's a shame that we're all meeting under these circumstances, but
Sorry, who are you?
I'm just about to do introductions. Beat you to it. Okay, so pass over, Peter, if you'd like to introduce yourself first, and then pass to Andrew.
Well, I'm Peter Griffiths. I've lived in this constituency for 30 odd years. I'm a member of Reform, but this is a non-political meeting. This is purely for information and to hear what you have to say.
Good evening everyone. My name is Andrew Wilson. I'm the District Councillor for Crowborough South East. I'm not an administration councillor, so I'm part of the opposition, and I can see several other district councillors in the room who are also members of the opposition. The context around the thing we're talking about this evening, I found out, along with the rest of you, when I was called on Tuesday morning at 6:30 a.m. So the district council had known since October 10th, but myself and the other opposition councillors found out the programme was going to be used for this purpose early on Tuesday morning. So just the context. Please don't throw anything out.
Thank you both. I'm Michael Barrett, I'm the branch chairman of the Reform UK. Shall I go without the mic? Yeah. Okay, can everyone hear me at the back? Yeah. Excellent. I'm Michael Barrett, I'm the branch chairman of Reform UK in Sussex Weald. As Peter just said, this is not a political event. Reform UK are not here to point score, to attack the other parties or anything. What we wanted to host this event for is to give you a voice, to meet each other, to meet us, and ultimately what I'd like to get from the end of this evening, and as you can appreciate there's people waiting outside to come in, which we are going to split the evening in half, is to know that there's a bit of a plan in place. And some of you may want to volunteer to help us to deliver that plan. We have about a month to resolve this. So a bit about me. I was in the army for 12 years, served in Afghanistan and Iraq. I'm now an information security manager at a construction company. I think the really important thing to note here is I'm not here to scare people. I don't need to stand up here and tell you what you've all seen on the news. I'm passionate about this community. I live in Crowborough myself, so if I wasn't stood up here, I'd be sat down there. I'm not a career politician, none of us are. We're here purely because we care. I've only been involved in politics for 6 months as branch chairman, so this is all very, very new to me. But what we can do, and look around at everyone in this room, we're all here, I would assume, for a common purpose and a shared concern. And only together, coming together, regardless of political backgrounds, political beliefs, will we actually achieve anything. So I'd like to welcome everyone here. I'd like to welcome, I know there's some Conservative councillors that are in attendance in the room. Warm welcome to you. Some independent councillors, welcome to you as well. And obviously Andrew has been kind enough to give up his time and to come and help as well. I'd also like to welcome the press. There's a few different sort of people from the press here. I think it's a good thing. What we want is to really elevate this and to really create some pressure, but in a positive way. Let's do this the right way. Let's do it together, and hopefully these guys can get our message out. Now the agenda for tonight. Now I've waffled on a bit of an intro. Peter has been keeping an eye on the news and has been collating all of the necessary information so that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. We all understand the whole picture as we can see it. He will be saying some facts in there, but as I say, we're not here to attack other parties. But where facts need to be called out, facts will be called out. And then we'll hand over to Andrew from the Wielden District Council perspective, and of course what he's planning to do. I guess from the inside, it's fair to say.
Can I just say one thing? I'm here as myself. I'm not representing Wielden District Council. I'm not here in an official capacity to give you the Wielden District Council view. That is the purview of the administration of Wielden District Council, which is currently a...
We can't hear you!
He's a good guy. Is that better? I'm not here. I'm not here to give you the official Wielden District Council view. I am an independent councillor at Wielden District Council. I'm a member of the opposition, and I'm also the chairman of the Council Scrutiny Committee. So please, if you want the official District Council line, please contact one of them, but I can give you the inside perspective of the opposition councillors this evening, and perhaps a little bit of colour around what Wielden is actually doing from the inside. But I'm not here to represent the district council. I'm here to represent...
Stand up and speak, please.
I didn't finish what I was going to say at this point.
Yeah, perfect. We'll take questions at the end. There'll be plenty of time to get questions. We'll come to you first. What I'm going to do now, in the interest of time, because we are splitting the session in half, is hand over to Peter Griffiths.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me at the back? Right, my wife says I have a very penetrating voice. I'm indebted actually to Ian Luxford of Crowborough News, because he's the one who first broke this on the 12th of September. And he said that there were rumours of hundreds of illegal immigrants to be housed at Crowborough Army camp. He contacted the Home Office. The Home Office said it was looking at alternative sites, but nothing had been agreed. But he said his tip-off came from a normally very reliable source. And the reliable source believed the Home Office were trying to get people into the camp before it became publicly announced. Well, that failed.
They're already in there, mate. They're already there. Bus was ready the other night.
If you all shout at once, I have the
The
faintest
bus was ready
idea
the
what
other
to
night,
say.
mate. Some of the buses.
On the 15th of September, we sent freedom of information requests to the Home Office and the MOD to ask them if they could tell us what was going on. And on the 19th of September, Michael did a first update on what was going on our Facebook page. On the 27th of September, we emailed Nusrat Ghani, who is our MP, to inform her of our opposition to the use of the camp. And we urged her to contact the relevant ministers to find out what was going on, to make her opposition known. On the 29th, that's 2 days later, we had a reply from her saying she had been given no formal notification that any plan was in place. I think no formal notification is politician speak. 29th of September, we sent an open letter to the Home Office, to the East Sussex County Council, Wielden District Council and Crowborough Town Council, asking for a public statement in order to inform the residents and give them chance to comment. On the 4th of October, we did a further update on Facebook because we had heard rumours that Home Office officials had been visiting the site and that a certain amount of work was going on. Officially, on the 10th of October, Wielden District Council, East Sussex County Council, the police, the fire and the NHS were informed. On the 13th of October, the Home Office told us that they were extending the freedom of information request, as they were allowed to do, under certain grounds, up until November. And the grounds they chose were health and safety. I'm not quite sure how housing safety comes into this, but those were the reasons they gave. On the 27th of October, there was a letter from James Partridge to Mike Tatt, the Minister for Migration and Citizenship, welcoming the partnership with Home Office, and he stated in the letter, "We believe clear and transparent communication with the local community is vital, led by the Home Office, but in conjunction with us," but kept it quiet until the news broke in the Times. He had been asked on the 29th of September for a public statement, but he did not reply. Now, on the 28th of October, Nusrat Ghani appeared in several interviews on the television and also on her Facebook page, expressing her anger at not being informed of the decision, and she managed to drag Alec Norris, a Home Office minister, into the House in order to make a statement. And he said that the Home Office had been working for some weeks with Wilton District Council on the matter. I can't help but feel that Nusrat was being a little disingenuous, because after all, we had informed her back in the 27th of September what was going on, and if she chose not to ask the relevant ministers what was going on, I'm afraid that's down to her. I would really like to thank Mike very much, because he has done a tremendous amount of work on this to get it publicly made. As far as Nusrat goes, I'm afraid we knew about it because we live in the constituency. She doesn't. Thank you.
Just very quickly, so you said that they were already there, over to the side. There were pictures floating around on social media, 2 coaches going in. Myself and Andrew have been to the camp and had a look in today. It is not true. They haven't been moved in at the dead of night. So if you see any rumours like that, then that's not right.
Why did the coaches go at 4 o'clock in the morning?
I couldn't answer that, but we've been at the site at about lunchtime today where you would expect activity, and the only activity that we could see was work.
It might be the cadet forces going off somewhere.
It could well be, maybe there's still reservists training there. I don't know who was on those coaches, but there was no sign of anything other than people in pilots.
So can you just walk down to the site and have a look?
No, I've had permission to be on private land to the rear.
What sort of security have you got down there?
I'm just going to wait for questions until the end and pass over as per the agenda. And feel free to correct any statements as you have there.
So, as I said at the beginning, most of the district council, with the exception of the district council leadership, found out about this on Tuesday morning. I've personally spoken to Ms. Ghani, and with respect, I don't think the account of her knowing beforehand or using political language is actually accurate. And she has worked very hard in the time since Tuesday to today to bring ministers up to speed about her anger at this issue. I'm not a Conservative, I'm not a reform councillor, I'm an independent councillor, but I've been fortunate enough to have that insight, and I can tell you that she is working very, very hard to address this issue. She is furious, as am I, and as I'm sure many
Working that hard with it,
I can't tell you why she's not here.
I can't obviously answer why she's not here. She was invited, but I am aware in her defence that she was in Westminster today. So I'll leave that there.
But if you have questions around the district council's response, I will answer them to the best of my ability. As I said to you at the beginning of this, I'm also the chairman of the council's scrutiny committee, and on Tuesday morning I emailed council officers informing them that I wanted representatives from the police, from the Home Office, from East Sussex Fire and Rescue, the appropriate Wealdon District Council officers to be at that scrutiny meeting, which is happening on the 10th of November. The other thing, for those of you who'd like to read, voluminous material. There was a Home Affairs Select Committee report published on Monday. You can find that on the government's website, and that deals in detail about the government's response to the asylum crisis, migrant crisis, small boat crisis, however you choose to term it. They are trying to close down asylum hotels.
Sorry, speak up because we can't hear you.
I'm not sure I can actually talk much louder than this. Can anyone, is anyone else at the back having a
That's it, come down in a minute. That's the one. There we go.
So I can tell you that the district councillors in the opposition are very, very anxious to get the right result for Crowborough. We want the answers. We want you to have the answers. I'm disappointed to say that as of yesterday, Wealdon District Council officially hadn't asked the Home Office pretty much for anything. They were told on October 10th, they haven't made any requests. They essentially, as far as I can see, and these are my words, these aren't the District Council's words obviously, but they have sat on their hands and they have essentially said, how can we help you facilitate? Which I think personally is the wrong thing to do. There are ways we can challenge this from the District Council, and to give you some perspective, I made a Freedom of Information request last year about something that was happening within the District Council unrelated to this, and the council spent money trying to prevent me, as a councillor, getting that information. Now, they haven't spent any money, as far as I'm aware, getting legal advice as to what they can do to stop this repurposing of the facility.
Sorry, the gentleman said at the beginning we have a month. Does that mean that this decision could be reversed?
The decision, well, technically there is no one in the camp at this point, right? There are no migrants in the camp at this point. So, I think if I wasn't mistaken, madam, you were making reference to people being in the camp as well?
Yes.
Right, so Crowborough Army Training Camp has got a long history of being used as a legitimate place to put refugees. It was used in the late 90s to house Kosovan refugees, and most recently it was used to house the families on a transient basis of Afghan interpreters who kept our forces safe in Afghanistan and who were compromised by the Taliban. And that's why you would have seen families of refugees walking around Crowborough, and they were also housed at that camp. I don't think this is the same thing at all, but historically, Crowborough is a very, very welcoming town. We have one of the highest concentrations of Ukrainian refugees in the town. We're not an unfriendly community.
And just on that point, and I think the consensus is exactly what we think as well. There was never an issue with those. It was done legally.
That's not true.
It was done
There
properly.
was an issue. We've seen an issue with the Afghan interpreters.
Okay.
They come into my high street studio. They sexually harassed a member of my staff. Made inappropriate comments about their penises. A lone woman on her own, two of them. They blocked her exit. She couldn't get out of the shop, and she had to make a police report. That was two Afghan interpreters. So there was a problem with those.
I wasn't aware of that. I'm sorry that happened to you.
You're not going to be, unless we shout about it in places like this.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
And all people coming in, we have no clue who they are. So there was a problem, and there will continue to be problems.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go to the young man just at the back there corner. Was the question what will happen? Unfortunately, I don't have an answer as yet. I have been trying to contact some parents that I know who obviously have cadets there. Time. As far as I'm aware, that is still going ahead, but I do not know about the sort of longer term future of the cadets. But obviously, if I find out, then I will post it on our social media. Kevin, you've been waiting some time as well. You're welcome to come up.
No. Kevin Benson, independent councillor in Guild South. In the context of who, what, where, and when. It's quite clear that the Alliance for Wilderness, which is the Devonshire groups, the Cabinet have known about this for some time. Now, it's very easy for people to think they're clever, but all of a sudden things slip out. And that's what we've been seeing, the independent councillors and also our friends in the Tory group, because there's now a partnership group of opposition. And that has been done to control as best we can the voting, which has been rigged by the Greens. And just to put that into context, if anybody tells you they didn't know, they did. And there's something else I was going to mention, but I'll come back to that.
Yes.
Thanks. The meeting's heard that this is a small town. We have very limited police station in the town, which is closed most of the time. It's part-time police force. Wigan District Council issued their statement the other day talking about the police. And they said Sussex Police are closely and routinely consulted to ensure appropriate security arrangements are in place. And the Home Office has agreed a bid from Sussex Police to cover their costs associated with COVID. It will be a priority to tackle any increases in negative feeling amongst our community. We are the enemy.
And they thought he might get away with it. Two lovely ladies.
Yeah, sorry,
Can I ask, for a recap strategy, you're going to speak to somebody who may be able to act legally.
we hope so, yes.
You will gather the relevant people to hold them accountable. So Tuesday the 10th. But what can we as a community do to make out
I think everybody has got the right to their MP, to the East Sussex County Council, to the District Council, to the Town Council, to the newspapers, everybody. Because that's the only way we will get the strength of feeling in the community known.
I don't think that's going to make it
Protest as well. Demonstrate actually what's going on. One of the only things we can do at the moment.
We need to demonstrate it. I think that this needs to be a multi-pronged, whatever you want to call it, operation. The more pressure and the voices that are heard, to Peter's point, writing in does show that strength of feeling in the community. But I do agree that it's not the only thing. Obviously, so we will try and communicate that out to you.
Say that some of us actually live down by the army camp.
Yes.
And appreciate your respect about not protesting and not blocking us in or out. It's very difficult for us. My property actually borders onto the camp, and I'm very, very scared and very worried.
Of course.
We don't want any more trouble.
I completely agree. I'd just like to make the point that none of us up here have advocated for protesting, and we do accept there are residents there, and it's going to be tough enough. What other people do and organise is completely out of our control, but will not come from any of us up here. Sorry, I was just going back about the multi-pronged attack. I think while that is happening, obviously I need to take this call tomorrow with a solicitor who believes he can help. I have read his profile and he ticks a lot of the boxes. I believe that he is a Crowborough resident. I haven't met him yet. I've just communicated by email. So again, I'm not trying to give you false hope promises. As I get information, I will find a way of communicating. I might make an extra part on our website so that people can get in touch that way. And just ignore, if you're not a reform supporter, it's fine. Just ignore the fact it's reform. It's just somewhere that we can host information to keep you up to date. And that's one thing that I will do, is be transparent with the information that I can get.
From a district council point of view, with regards to information, there is a website that they have put up, which is www.wealden.gov.uk, which is the district council's website, and then /Crowborough-Army-camp. That will take you to a page where there is information, some of which we've shared here this evening, but I'm expecting that page to be updated on a regular basis. But if you do want to know what's going on from a district council perspective, please write to your district council. If you live in Crowborough South East, please write to me. If you don't live in Crowborough South East, write to me if you want to, but I'd prefer it if you didn't. Copy Nusrat Ghani. There is a Home Office email address on Wealden's website as well, on that relevant page. Copy them. We need to make our voices heard. Whatever you want to say, I'm happy to hear it. But my ability to influence Home Office policy is limited. But I will advocate as strongly as I can within the District Council and outside it for your views to be taken into account.
Okay. And sorry, just finally, I've probably said a couple of times now, but if anyone feels that they can help, has the time to help, please do see me at the end. Let's make contact. How we could be researching or helping to draft things. Again, I'm meeting a solicitor tomorrow. I'm certainly not a legal expert, but if you feel that you can step forward and do something, then let's start forming a bit of a working group and help each other. Okay, thank you. Over there, yes.
I printed out the Rotherfield Parish Council statement, which had details given to them from the Home Office. It states halfway down this particular letter that those men who are coming to the army camp have undergone security checks. I'd like to know how they do that when they turn up with no passports, no documents, how do we know they don't have outstanding warrants? What security checks? They've stated they've done it, so I'd like to know what those security checks are and what they say about these young men.
That's my question as well. I don't know if you have any knowledge of this, Andrew.
This is obviously, this kind of background checking is not something the District Council does. Anecdotally, I was curious about this myself, so I spent a bit of time yesterday looking at that particular issue. So what happens is when the small boat, most of the small boats get intercepted in the channel, either by Border Force or the RNLI, right? They are then taken to a processing site in Kent, at Manston. And at Manston, they undergo fingerprinting, DNA, that kind of stuff. If they've got any documentation, most of them don't have documentation. If they've got any documentation, that gets taken into account. And once they've gone through that initial processing, they're then put into, if they claim asylum, which most of them do, they're put into the asylum system. So I don't think it's going to be a shock to anyone. I think it's fairly well known across the country that most of these people arrive undocumented. And so I can't give you an assurance that they've undergone any kind of security check to the level that you would expect them to have. But that information comes directly from websites that are managed by the Home Office. So please do your own investigations as well, but I can't answer that question.
If I could just,
the government
have actually put out a list of frequently asked questions, because I think they probably have been frequently asked. One, they say they arrive at the site following checks against policing and immigration databases. And the other one,
says, where are we now? If I can try and find it. Anyway, basically, it's very limited because they are travelling with most of them without documents. They're told by the smuggling gangs to throw their phones and their passports overboard before they're picked up. And so basically, unless they're on a known international database, the authorities have to take what they say at face value.
So, I'm going to come to you just after this lady was talking. Point of apologies. Yes.
It's not a question, it's fact. My sister lives in an area where they have loads of immigrants that are men. There have been girls raped, the children are followed, things are stopped. They walk into the shops and take stuff out of the shops because they're groups of men. People don't feel safe there, and when they're walking down the street, they're spat on, and they talk in their own languages, so you don't know what they're saying. And the last thing that my sister said, not only do they have to lock their doors, but there was a veteran that was living on the streets. He was attacked by two of them, kicked, and what little he had was taken. He committed suicide a couple of days later.
Yeah, I did hear about that story. Sorry, we do have a bit of a queue. I did say this gentleman would come in. Thank you for your input there.
Okay, so I appreciate you're not going to be able to answer this question, but it's been noted that the people coming over are military-age fighting men. This is an army camp. Will they be receiving any military training while they're at the army camp? Are you sure? It's a question that I'd like answered.
Obviously, I appreciate your point. I can see this, of course, it's not being popular. But let's hope not.
I think the answer to that is no.
Yeah, but how do you know that?
This is what I said. Yeah, I don't have it.
That was covered up, the Gat Valley store, where the Muslims are in there, training camp. That was all covered up.
Yeah. So, shall we move on to the next question? Lady here.
One thing to say really is that and if we let this army camp situation develop and these men move in, the next problem we had was all over the national news, Crowborough. No one suddenly want to live in Crowborough.
Yeah, but
because that's going to be affected. I mean, you've got new build housing estates that they can't seem to sell that easily at the moment. The price is going to go down, and then the next thing you'll have the government buying up the houses. That's the idea.
That is an absolutely excellent point, and again, that's why we're trying to bring the community
And I've just
together.
moved my elderly mother into Crowborough from London for this sort of reason, and she's bought a new build house in good faith. You know, I mean, we've really got to stand together here in the most positive and respectful way. So I just hope we all do pull together and support you in what you're doing.
Thank you very much for that.
The leaders of the council have done us the decency of turning up. Is there any way that we can ask for meetings with them?
So email them, I guess.
Absolutely. You can email. The leader of the council is a man called Councillor James Partridge. His email address is prominent on the website.
Facebook. Contact.
Yeah. It should be very easy to find. If you can't find his email address or his contact details, then please email me, and I will happily give them to you.
Is he obliged to come to a meeting?
This is a public meeting organised by ourselves, so he's not obliged to come to this
No,
one. Oh, sorry.
If we request a meeting, is he obliged to come?
I believe the answer to that would be no. He's not compelled to come to any meeting. However, every single meeting of the district council is a meeting held in public. And if any of you want to come to the full council meeting, which is being held on the 19th of November, too late. Unfortunately, it's in the diary, so I can't move that meeting. And the meeting, this is yes or no? I'm trying to answer the question. Obviously, I'm not. Yes or no? I'm not a Home Office minister, sir, but there's time to mount a challenge. So whether or not it gets reversed, there's obviously time between now and then. When you do mount that challenge, yes, exactly. When you mount that challenge, they're talking about moving on to
just hold the questions until the end, please, and let Andrew finish. Okay, there's plenty of time for questions at the end.
But I'm trying to tell you that half of the district council, the opposition half, is working hard to encourage the district council to mount a defence. The administration has known since October 10th and hasn't done anything other than attempt to facilitate. Please don't shoot me. I am just here supporting you, trying to give you as much information as I have. This is an evolving situation. The ground is moving under our feet. The MP is doing what she can. The minister has had, excuse my language, a bit of a bollocking, I understand, from the MP. There is going to be a statement on the floor of the House of Commons tomorrow, I think. So this is a national story, and it is moving very quickly. And it would be disingenuous for me to stand here as a single person from the district council and say that the district council can prevent it from happening. That's going to take all of us to use our voice, to apply pressure where we can, sign petitions when you see them. Please make your voice known. I'm here because I want to know what you think. I want to know, as someone who stood for election in 2023 to the district council, to know what you think, because I think there are things we can do as a community to prevent this from happening, and I'm trying to work with you to affect that.
Can I just ask before that, can I just establish why it's so stressful? Why do you need that? I don't understand why they can't do that. What's the
rejoin us then, all of us can
questions at the end, guys. Not get the memo, listen to it. Questions at the end, yeah?
No. So Andrew was just finishing, but he's now rejoined us. That we do want to maximise the whole point of us being here, so that people can have their opinions and can have their say. But yes, we will take questions. What I will say before we do is we're not here to make promises, okay? From a reform perspective, we're not elected. We're a movement at the moment in this area. We didn't have elections this year. But what we are doing, and I will tell you now, is I'm speaking to a solicitor tomorrow who believes that he can help. Can I have some quiet, please? Okay, so again, I'm not making promises, but when I think there was a question over there, I said we have a month, and Andrew says there's nobody in there at the moment. That is a fact. There is nobody in there at the moment. Until people are in there, in my view, there is a chance. And a chance is what we need. In any walk of life, all you need is a chance. And again, I need us to all come together to work together. And if people have skill sets in this room, maybe there's another solicitor or somebody that knows various rules and regulations that are way above any of my knowledge, then please do see me at the end and I'll give you my card and we can have discussions. But I would now like, for the next just under 45 minutes until we bring in a second group, is to open the floor and have questions, but please be respectful of each other, okay? There is no point in attacking each other in this room. So you were trying to ask them first.
Yeah, the council, the Northern District Council, in its statement said it was instructed by the Home Office to keep the information confidential until the government chose to make it public. I'm not a solicitor, but I'm pretty sure the Home Office doesn't have the legal power to bind or compel Wealdon District Council to keep the information confidential. And my question to the gentleman now, the councillor, is whether that's true or not.
So my answer to that, and I've had the same question as you, sir, is that I am not aware of any statutory provision that would have prevented, at the very least, Wealdon District councillors, including myself and all of the opposition councillors, being at least, and at the very bare minimum, briefed on what was planned, or what was being planned to happen, so that we could make representations and prepare for the obvious public questions that were going to be coming our way, and also to express our view on whether we thought that was an appropriate use for the camp. And so the answer to your question is no, I'm not aware of any reason for national security that we could not have been told.
Thank you.
Yeah, so basically we've got an open prison with, I understand, around about 600 men going to be on our doorstep.
So going off the information that we do know, and this was reiterated in the House of Commons yesterday by the Minister, the camp is intending to be occupied by, as you say, 600 male, so between 18 and 65, asylum seekers who have come off the...
That's not actually my
question. Air quote this, small boats, right?
That's not actually my question. So that's what we've got on our doorstep. You've got your meeting on the 10th of November. What do you anticipate putting in place, or trying to put in place, to safeguard persons in the local community? I mean, we're here because we all want to safeguard our local community.
Well, assuming that the people invited to that meeting turn up, so members of Sussex Police, representatives from the police force, and so on and so forth, I will be wanting to know what provisions they're making in terms of their operational footprint. Because as you know, Crowborough is a very peaceful, low crime area, and we're also we're pretty isolated from a police perspective because we're so close to the Kent border. The number of police that are in here.
That's exactly what I was
and Katie Bourne, who is the Sussex Police and Crime Commissioner, she was on the television the other day saying she hadn't heard about this, and she was working very hard with the Chief Constable Joe Shiner to put in place and stand up an operational policing plan for this eventuality. But I'm in the dark as much as many of you with this stuff at the moment.
But just to add to that, there's a rotation, because the people can only stay in that camp for 6 to 9 months. So when they put 600 in, as soon as they get out of the asylum and they get their visa to stay here, they can then rotate into society, and then the next numbers come in. So this is a rotational thing. It's not a static 600.
No. So I'll let you answer in just a second. From what I've read, the same as you in the media, is that it would be between 60 and 90 days that individuals would effectively be rotated out, as you put it, and therefore new ones would come in. It's also reported that it's only for up to 12 months. if I could just check Mike and Andrew, if you've got anything to add to that answer.
Yeah, so I have to say, when it comes to the 12-month thing, I am cynical as to that time frame. And the reason I'm cynical as to that time frame is that the government is relying on what they're calling Class Q, which is part of permitted development rights afforded to the Crown under a piece of legislation in 2015 called the General Development Protection Order, and they can only do that if there is some form of emergency, and they are time limited to 12 months. Now, in other parts of the country, and I'm not saying they're going to do this here, but I was also talking to a previous prior migration minister 2 days ago. In previous iterations where they've sought to use MOD property for this purpose, they've done it under Class Q initially, and they've said we're going to use it for 12 months. And then the government has used those 12 months to put in place what they call statutory instruments, which are secondary pieces of legislation, which then extend their ability to continue to use the site. Now, they haven't put one of those statutory instruments in place, but that's why I'm cynical that they are time limiting it for 12 months now, because if they said they were going to use it for longer, they couldn't do that under Class Q.
Okay. So just one other thing, like the number that I'm new here, by the way. I've been here for about 6 months. But the other number I picked up in Crowborough, there's about 22,000 people. And 600 people that come in here, the first batch is 3% of this population. If you multiply that out by 10, that becomes 30% of the population.
I think, okay, so I think mathematically that's incorrect. If they were staying here, you would be right.
Rotation.
They're not being rotated out into the Sussex community.
Where are they going?
Sorry, that's absolutely fine, and we will come to you, sir, but if that's...
The government is trying to disperse people out of asylum hotels, and this is part of that effort. There are other initiatives that are in that piece of work that I mentioned earlier, the report by the parliamentary committee that detail their plans for permanent resettlement. Now, the other thing is, this is immigration statistics from the Home Office that I looked at yesterday. About 40% of the people who come off the small boats have their asylum claims rejected, and 60% are then granted asylum and moved into other accommodation across the country. It's not camps. It's not. It's done on a council basis, but please don't bite my head off. I'm here to try and help you, not to cause a problem.
Is there any other area in the country that has 600 immigrants in a town of this size?
Not that I'm aware of. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be one of the largest concentrations of...
are looking for other sites as well, because obviously 600 is just a drop in the ocean compared to the number coming in. Right.
I'll give some context. The largest migrant hotel holds 425.
Are these people going to be free to leave their camp and wander around the town? Yes or no? Yes. So we have 600 illegal immigrants wandering this town that we know nothing about, and bearing in mind the recent history in Epping
What confidence do we have in the Home Office of being able to know anything? Any competence at all?
So I have very little confidence in the Home Office.
And so do we.
Can we just say that you're absolutely free to sort of buy it, but that's, again, this is why we wanted to get everyone here, so everyone can add and use and ask their questions, and obviously we can answer what we can. The gentleman there has waited quite some time, sorry.
Thank you very much. We welcome the fact that this is happening. We welcome that there's an independent member of Wilton District Council here. Where is the elected member of Wilton District Council? Where is the controlling value of Wilton District Council? Have they been invited? Why are they not here?
I'm here because I found out about it and I contacted Mike. Right? That's why I'm here. I thought it would be useful for a district councillor to come and give you some perspective. As I said, there are other district councillors.
I completely agree, but for those that are in the ivory tower, making the decisions or not making the decisions, why are they not here to answer the questions?
I can't answer that, sir. And one of the things I will be advocating for within the district council, and I'm sure the others in the room, the other district councillors in the room will be joining me in this. Wealdon District Council needs to take a community leadership role here. Now, their line that they've taken with this thus far is not us, Gov, it's the Home Office, it's being done to us. And to a degree, I can understand why they've said that, but I think it abrogates their responsibility to you to tell you what's going on in the community.
Can I just very quickly add, as an open public meeting, we do have representation from the Conservatives and other independents in this room. They could have come. They have chosen clearly not to. Everyone has phoned up. Sorry, young man at the back there.
You're not young. This is after I did it.
Thank you.
Now, a few months ago, I saw a lone coming out there, and they were standing at the bus stops. It was a few months ago. So you can't tell me.
I agree. So can I just? Right. So just for some context, Crowborough Army training camp.
Are they going to reduce their rates? Their rates will
On the council tax rate reduction, I can tell you that when the vote came to put your council tax up last year, all of the opposition councillors voted not to do that, and all of the Green, Lib Dem and Labour councillors. It's happening on the 10th of November. But Councillor Partridge lives in Crowborough, and I would be very surprised, knowing the man. He's a decent man. He will respond to you if you email him.
See, there's three gentlemen over there, so can I just go sort of left, right, right?
Yeah. So, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement of intent. I do believe you should protest demonstrators out on the streets. I'd like to speak to the lady who spoke earlier who don't affect you, because that's the last thing I want to do. Okay? I think the first place you should go to is Helsham at the council offices when they're open. I don't want to put it on Facebook because as soon as you do that, you'll get a counter protest from the people on the left. Unbelievable diversions that are weird. Come and speak to me outside, please. It's got numbers if you wish to. And we can organise this quite quickly. Thank you.
Can I just make a comment on that point?
Right, yeah.
I completely understand why you might think it a good idea to go and protest at the district council offices. But the one thing I would say,
I've already got a liaison officer who I speak to regularly.
They are more than on board. That's great, right? But that wasn't what I was going to say. What I was going to say was, this is not a district council decision, right? I will advocate for the district council. I'm sure Councillor Benson, you would be with me on this, I'm sure, and there are other district councillors in the room, Councillor Newton would do the same. Advocate within the district council to give the strongest possible council response to the Home Office, but at the end of the day, this is a central government decision. It's the Home Office that is making that decision.
But they're complicit though, aren't they? They've been into them for months.
If you want
they are responsible.
If you want to protest somewhere, the most effective place to protest, and I know it very well because I live about 5 minutes away from it, is the Home Office in London.
It's a local issue. It's a local issue. So if you go to Westminster, you're going to get loads of trouble with that. Probably with the next item. This is around here. We're going to do it here. I'm going to do it here. Thanks for your advice, but I'm going to do it
A little bit of three of you now. I was just working through, but then the gentleman just over there, you'll be after. So. Yes,
so just going off what you said earlier, you said that we've got about a month to change something. So you clearly have like a time for that span of when they're going to start moving in. And I think it's important for us to know how long it's going to be before, the safety of the women and children leave everyone. And it's not safe.
Yeah. All we know is it's the same as what's been reported, which is end of November. I do have somebody who I've been speaking to regularly that has stated the 3rd of December. But if we work to whichever one's the closest, it's the end of November.
Is someone going to sort of let the school, give updates to the schools and stuff? If you've got beacon schools, they travel down that alleyway, which is into the city, all the wicked. So at the end of them, sort of roaming around, and then you've got all the you've got Burma, got Hearns, you've got all these schools around. What's going to happen? Is anyone going to keep them updated? Because the parents are kept by.
I'm sure they are. So just to reiterate, obviously, I don't know if you all have any inside information as it comes, but obviously we can try and communicate through our channels and keep people up to date through Facebook, through our website, but we're not the official channel. So any information that we hear is unfortunately going to be second-hand, but we will try our absolute best, for you to keep people up to date.
Mr. Chairman, please may I ask a question? Mr. Chairman? After that lady over there.
Sorry, there was a gentleman just there that I said was next, and then I'll come to you.
Just a simple question about the effective influence. When the news broke this week, the BBC chose to headline it by saying the population of Crowborough is divided. It's surprising. I understand people have sympathies. We all do to a certain extent. But how effective then would be a petition? Covering, really getting out there and covering all the residents of Crowborough. Is that effective?
I couldn't comment if it's effective, but there are 3 petitions. I know of one on change.org and 2 on change.org.
Well, they all need signing, don't they?
There are several petitions going. I think Nuzrat Ghani has got one going, so that's the one. If it reaches 10,000, then the government has to respond to it. If it reaches 100,000, there should be a debate.
But it can only achieve 23,000.
If you want to sign a petition, those are the ones who go.
If it could express the extent of how Crowborough feels about it.
Well, I can only say, I'm on a website called Nextdoor. I don't know how many of the others here are on it. I have to say it's fairly well divided there. A lot of people, I don't know whether they're actually from Crowborough, but a lot of people say Crowborough residents only. There's equally, probably a slightly larger number who are very anti.
So apologies, obviously with so many people coming, we do need to turn around. So I'm just going to take 2 more questions. There's the gentleman there, and I have seen you sometimes there as well. Any others, please do come and get my card, email me, get in touch with us, messenger on social media. But sir, please.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, is it not a case that if we allow, or we're unfortunately landed with this development that they're talking about, it's not a temporary thing, it's going to become a processing centre for as long as this government can't cure the photographs. And we will be stuck with this forever, but as far as we can see, if this current lot's policies are as unsuccessful as they have been so far.
How did Bexhill stop them using their army base? That's what we need to find out. Does that all stop to Bexhill?
We will take a stand as simple as that. We will stop paying council tax, put that money into a pot that we all bloody pay, and then we put security outside the schools. There's 14,000 taxpayers in Crowborough. That works out about £2.5 million every month in taxpayers' money out of Crowborough alone. We put that money into a pot, we do it legitimately through reform, through a solicitor, we do it properly, and we use that £2.5 million every month. Even if we had half of that money, we could put security outside schools, we could put it at the gyms, parks, everywhere. That's what we've got to do. We've got to take a stand and say, the thing is up to the council, we as the people have the power. We get walked over by the room. Into a separate pot. That's it.
Sir, I completely understand.
No, you don't understand. Do you have a daughter at the schools down here?
I have 2 daughters. Actually.
Well, okay, maybe you do. But I'm not going to have some.
I have two daughters. I live in Crowborough, about a mile away from the camp, so I completely understand.
I would say we do everything legitimately that we can. We get solicitors, lawyers, whatever we do. We put a separate pot of money. We can't stop the bins being empty. We can repair the roads. With that £2.5 million, we can repair the roads ourselves, get the bins empty.
I completely understand your anger and your sentiment. As an elected councillor, I would be remiss if I didn't advise you that not paying your council tax is not a good idea. I can't stop you, obviously, if that's what you choose to do. I don't think it will solve the problem that you think, and I think it will create more issues.
Well, that's what we want. We want people to
but this is treason. It's treason. This isn't what my great granddad fought
Well said.
This crap.
I didn't hear half of what you said, but I did hear the first part, and as a veteran myself,
Why should we deal with this?
I completely agree, and that's why we're here.
We're paying for our own destruction. It's ridiculous.
No, it's not. You calm down, because this is you're preaching to the choir, okay? This is why most people are in this room today. I did say that the gentleman there, but I did also, apparently, Councillor Army, you've got a question as well, or a statement to make. Can I go to that gentleman first? Sorry. Yes.
So I just wanted to directly respond to the lady that said, why is there stress? And I just feel that maybe there's more than that lady there, but I don't understand how this can't be stressful. When you see, as the gentleman in front pointed to the recent news that most people have seen, maybe people haven't seen, but it would only take one murder, one rape, one sexual assault in this community for you maybe to suddenly feel stressed. Whereas I feel stressed about other communities having something like that. So I'd like to be on whatever you're on. I've got to leave my house and go to work. And it is a simple case of numbers. If there is just 600 men there, they may well be 600 perfectly amenable, perfectly nice men. There may be a small percentage that isn't. There may be 600 that are. We don't know. And using the data that we can already see in front of our eyes, we know that there is likely to be a percentage of that community that may well be criminals, already criminals, so on. Labour, 7 days ago, voted against releasing migrant data, migrant crime data. So if there isn't something to hide there, why not let us see the level of migrant crime committed by asylum seekers or people that are already in the community and so on.
They commit 25% of sexual crimes.
I've not been
in reality, it's just we've got people waiting outside, but thank you very much for your...
In the interest of fairness, don't you think it's time that you ask if there was anyone in the floor who has the opposite?
It's not your turn, it's someone.
Put your hands up. I do need to change those. I've been asking people fairly around the room at random.
Nobody has put an opposite view.
There isn't one. Jesus, wake up. Open your house for about with sticks and you take it, mate. You take it. Off you go, Gandalf. Go on, Gandalf, off you go.
Is ultimately right. But what you need to know is that current cabinet members have been complicit in doing nothing to stop them. So you need to write to those cabinet members. They're across 3 political persuasions, Green, Lib Dem and Labour. You need to write to them. They need to hear it from you, your views, because they are the ones still need to do it. They're all on email. It's all on the website. Who are they? You need to try. No, I'm not supposed to. I used to be.
The people.
They are the ones that have actually done nothing about it. This camp was loosely earmarked for this several years ago, but it was stopped by the then government. And the reason was actually that it wasn't suitable for anyone to live there. So what's changed? And so why is it not suitable then and is it now? These are the things you need to write to the cabinet and
Oh, there you go. So, Michael, what's your opinion?
Well done, Nick. I heard you.
Well, thank you.
Well done, Nick.
I'm doing a film here.
Oh, you're on film?
Well, you're on film as well.
With all the useless information we've got.
So come on in. Tell us what you think.
Well, you've just been in. What do you think? I'm about to go in.
I'd
hardly worth it.
It was not really a very useful meeting, to be absolutely honest. Can I tell you something? There's a lot of speculation, of course. My personal concern is security. What's going to do to property values? Is they're going to go down? And I do know quite a bit about that.
I thought the guy who mentioned we should all stop paying council tax would make a huge difference if we could convince the town to do that.
This is what you've got to do. You've got to not comply. Not comply then. And you're going to have 600 young men, mainly, it says up to 65, but they're all going to be in their teens and 20s. And after a month, they're going to get bored, they're going to get frustrated, they're going to get angry, and there's no security. That's my main concern.
Well, they laughed when I said, will they get any military training? This is a military
There was a cadet when I was 14.
I did my parachute regiment training down there.
There you go. Well, anyway, we'll see. I don't think it's been useful. Talking is one but
it's good to see how many people.
There's so much more linked to it. It's not just about the immigrants and the hotels and the, it's why are these people coming? They could be stopped just like they don't want it. It's all done by design. Why aren't they staying in France? Because they won't get all the handouts. This is all linked to our digital ID. They're smashing the farmers. They're going after everybody. And what people have got to do is they've got to join up the dots and realise that they've cut the heating allowances for the old people. They've done all these things, and people have got to realise that this is just it's to crash the system. This is really what's happening.
Spot on.
I think they should are you filming?
I am. Go on, carry on. You're about to say something pertinent.
No, you haven't seen the filming of the army, the navy in the channel, and they're doing your best at. But they're helping.
They could easily stop it by removing all the incentives that they get when they come here.
But what I would like to know is the millions and millions we pay to the French. What the hell are they doing with it? They're not doing sod all. You could stop. They know where the boats are coming from. Germany. They know where all this stuff, the life jackets, is all coming from.
I'll bring it up with David tomorrow.
It's all coming from within Europe.
I'm talking to David Curtin tomorrow morning on a podcast, and I shall bring these points up with him. He'll be in total agreement, I'm sure. Anyway, good luck.
All we have to do is stop all the benefits.
Yeah, exactly. Stop the incentives.
Ban halal meat.
Yeah.
That's another one. Ban Sharia law. That's another one. We stop all the human rights lawyers. We cut out all this legal rubbish that we're paying for all of it. Why are we doing that? Why are we agreeing to do this?
We have a Prime Minister who is a lawyer, and they have a lawyer's mind. They're not thinking about people.
He's a communist.
He's a puppet.
He's a puppet.
He's a puppet working for BlackRock.
Yeah, and the World Economic Forum as well.
Well, World Economic Forum are working for BlackRock.
Yes.
Anyway, jolly good luck to us.
Yeah. Cheers.
We work everything out one realise I want to hold you very, very soon. It's awful seeing Oh, you?
No. We were going to.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot of opposition to this in Crowborough.